Well, there's almost 86,000 missionaries now. I think the exact number as of today is something like 85,593 or some number like that. But it continues to grow. Of course, it's summertime, so we have a lot of missionaries coming home and a lot of missionaries leaving right now. But we anticipate that the numbers of full-time missionaries will continue to grow over the next several months. We anticipate that sometime late in the fall, we'll begin to plateau and then begin to actually have a decrease in the number of missionaries going into next year. We are thinking it will end up in the high 70,000s. So whether that's 77 or 78 or 79, we don't know for sure right now, and it depends upon the pace at which those that become eligible request the opportunity for missionary service. Some have asked about the creation of 58 new missions last year and why we did that. Those 58 new missions were created not to handle the surge of missionaries. The 58 new missions were created to create missions that would be of appropriate size after the surge of missionaries. And so we don't believe we're ever going back to numbers in the 50,000s of missionaries. What we see is that this generation simply has a desire to serve. And they responded magnificently to President Monson's invitation, and thus the increased numbers of both elders and sisters and even senior couples. With some of the changes in mission leadership that have been made, we've seen sister missionaries become remarkably strong, wonderful leaders in their missions. We've seen them participate in what's now known as the Mission Leadership Council, and we've seen them really respond in a wonderful way to the opportunity now to not only serve a mission, but also during the course of that, participate in the Mission Leadership Council to provide input and counsel with regard to the direction that a mission would take and the challenges and problems that are faced, as well as the opportunities. Let me just say this. As the First Presidency and the 12 considered lowering the age of missionary service and providing the opportunity for more people, there never has been a goal to tie the increase in missionary service to increasing the number of convert baptisms. We preach the gospel to those who have a desire to hear the gospel. Every month, if you compare month over month, the baptisms are up. Right now for this year, there's about an overall 15% increase in the number of convert baptisms this year compared to a comparable period last year. As we have more missionaries, we're going to have more of everything. We have more of all the great things that happen. We have more young people that serve. We have more converts in the church. We have greater resource for bishops and wards and branches and districts and stakes out there. But at the same time, we have more of everything else too. We have a few more car accidents, and we have a few more illnesses. And it's not that it's out of proportion to the rise of the missionaries. It's simply almost directly in proportion to the rise in the number of missionaries. There has not been any large statistical increase in early return rates for either elders or sisters, but there is more because there's more missionaries. We love these missionaries, and we know the Lord loves these missionaries. And we are committed to absolutely doing everything we can to protect their safety. Missionaries, as they begin their day, have what some have termed a safety moment, where we not only have planned the day, but now before we go out and do what we've planned, we talk about how we're going to safely ride our bicycles, or if we're participating in a service project, how we're going to wear appropriate safety gear, or be dressed appropriately, or wear eye goggles if that's needed, or whatever the case may be. And we hope that by raising the sensitivity of missionaries to safety issues, that in and of itself will begin to diminish any potential for injury that there might be. But the mission itself, and for the whole population of these young people, it is by far the safest place for any young single adult to be that I'm aware of. I've read statistics that suggest that being on a mission may be as much as 20 times safer than being generally out in the population. But that said, even one is too many. And so we keep working and we keep working. We try to think of the things ourselves that we can do. We also bring in outside experts to consult with this and to look at the way in which we do the work and the way in which accidents happen. And we keep working to try to make it even safer. We've now had 30 missions in the United States and in Japan and one or two other places, as well as sister missionaries in most of the visitor centers, using digital devices and online proselyting as part of what they just do day in and day out. The device that's been used to date has been an iPad mini, and that's proven to be very successful. You think about what you might have on your own iPad or whatever similar device you have, and you think about what you've seen missionaries try to carry in their backpacks over the years, and all of that fits into a very nice, small, compact device that they can take with them and utilize in their teaching and in their proselyting. It has been a wonderful experience. We've had about 6,500 missionaries using these devices. We've had maybe that many or more missionaries, some of whom are the same missionaries, using online proselyting, and we've learned a lot. We've learned, number one, that most missionaries are very comfortable and very capable in terms of using digital technology. We found that missionaries love studying using digital devices. They read more, they study more. It's a wonderful tool to encourage learning. We've learned that they're very effective tools for planning, for communicating with local leaders, for communicating with their mission president, and for keeping in contact with the investigators that are currently being taught, former investigators that they may have taught either in the same area or some earlier place. And even after their mission, once they've developed this pattern of digital communication through Facebook and through email and through other things that are available to them, it facilitates a dream that President Hinckley talked about, which was that missionaries all their lives would stay in contact with those that they taught. As the First Presidency in the 12 has reviewed the experience that we've had, and as we've reported to them, they've now authorized the expansion of the use of digital devices, and it will be a mini iPad, into all of the missions of North America, including Canada and the United States, into all of the missions of Japan, and into all of the missions of what you would think of as Western Europe. Starting this fall and going into early next year, we think that they'll be in 162 missions with about 32,000 missionaries. And where it's safe to do so, continue to expand the use of technology appropriately and carefully, but to expand the use of technology into other parts of the world also. We view long-term the use of digital devices by missionaries to be a critical component of their ability to learn. We anticipate sooner rather than later that missionaries will begin their formal preparation for missionary service before they enter the MTC. We know that wards and stakes have mission preparation courses, and those are being looked at very carefully by the priesthood department and those who have responsibility for mission preparation. But we hope in a very seamless way that preparation will lead to the kind of preparation, language and gospel study and other things, even before one gets to the MTC after they receive their call. We view the mission as the ideal time to develop lifelong worthy digital habits. We know that even with filters and every other safeguard that we can provide, that the only really effective filter for lifelong technology use is the individual heart and mind of the individual young person. And so we believe, and we have great faith, that part of what will happen for thousands of young men and young women is that during their mission, they'll develop worthy, lifelong digital habits which will bless their lives and their families forever. As we use new tools, we don't want to discard old tools. And traditional forms of proselyting are going to remain key moving forward. And we know that in many parts of the world, the traditional forms of proselyting work very, very well. In some other places where technology and urban life has developed in such a way that missionaries have a harder time contacting people, we hope that these tools become even more valuable in those places. Missionaries who come from developed countries that are self-supporting in terms of missionary service, we're going to ask them to pay for their device. And it will be their property during their mission and after their mission. And the cost for a device is $400. It's about the cost of a bicycle for those missionaries that have gone out and had to buy a bicycle. So it's about the same cost as a bicycle, and we'll ask them and their families to pay that amount. For missionaries who are called to serve in areas where the use of the devices is approved, but who come from non-self-supporting countries and areas of the world, the church will work with their mission president or perhaps their local leaders to provide appropriate assistance to them, and that may vary from person to person. We believe that the young people of this church will continue to say yes to missionary service. And they'll continue to choose to become young disciples of Christ. For them, it's an absolute free will offering to the Lord and to their fellow man. And to watch this continue and continue and continue is one of the greatest faith-inspiring things I've ever seen. I can't tell you how grateful I am to be where I can see this happening and to watch a whole generation embrace the work of the Lord.